Manav, in Mumbai, as a developer, except for the major, which is the development plan approval, rest of the stuff is fairly straightforward. It's not really as or more complicated than any other city in India, or for that example, India, New Delhi. So if you look at our situation in Mumbai, except for the excise licenses, which is quite exorbitantly priced and quite cumbersome, rest of the stuff is fairly straightforward. You have to have your BMC approvals for health, for safety, and these are numerous, but they are not, I would say, out of line in terms of any. Yes, we are, let's not forget, we are in a lifestyle, socializing, fashion business, if I may use the words. And similarly, this whole expectation and the clientele mood has changed. Secondly, the coronavirus has actually created this whole thing about, a negative impact on socializing. So if you look at events, if you look at food and beverage, if you look at, bar scene, all of them have actually got a kind of uh, gone into a zone which is very, very suspicious. So the hotels will have to evolve to address these issues. If you look at in terms of your banqueting, in terms of food and beverage, I see that most of the large events would have to be curtailed down to less than 100 in number. So you had 1,000-person wedding, may end up being at max 100 to 200 people. And the clients would be very, very concerned about exposing their own friends and relatives to many more people and themselves also. And the hotels will have to kind of address this issue. And I would see that this social distancing and banquets and large events would be curtailed for at least a year, if not more. Solution comes for the virus. So this is a evolving thing, but for sure the product, the space of service, the buffet restaurants, the buffet service in a banquet event will have to be seriously. Here, this is a very interesting conversation about product. We have two components of the product. One component is the physical product, and second is the service product. If I look at the physical product, the trend, the room, and the whole space was designed, it was led earlier by Oberoi's concepts in India, and then the luxury concept that evolved into our space from overseas. If you look at it, our hotels now have to evolve, use this as an opportunity to evolve how to become more efficient with our physical product in terms of sizing of the public spaces, in terms of sizing of the back of the house, in terms of sizing of even the room. And how our customer will interface with us meaning our employees. I think the interface itself has to become a bit more in terms of physical contact or interaction would have to be reduced. For example, take an example of a restaurant. If a customer arrives, I think he is visited by our employees minimum 7 to 8 times. First to escort to the table, second to pull the chair, make him sit, give him the menu, come back to take the menu orders, and then probably fill glasses with water. So the interface of the employees, our employees with the customer will also evolve. So you have both the evolutions are going to be, and this is an opportunity for us as hoteliers, as owners, and as operators to examine what the customer requires, and are we actually focusing on that and cutting the fat out, which is more of a legacy of the past rather than what the customer presently requires. So this is an opportunity for us to re-examine our product offering and see how to become more efficient. I mean, different segments of the hotels field would require a different approach, but I would say generally 5-star hotels, luxury hotels would require a bit more re-examination because they have a maximum amount of waste that they have created. And we in our own space realize, as Ashish was just mentioning, the amount of fixed cost that is there, which is probably actually not required by our customers. And the return that is giving it to us to our bottom line is very minimal. So you have, I see almost a trend where re-examination will happen. This is a slightly, I mean, we need to look at it differently. We are going to become more efficient. That's the point. Point is not job loss or job gain. It's redeployment of human resources to a place where it is required. So if we are doing something which we were doing inefficiently in the past, and we can do it more efficiently with lesser manpower, that is efficiency. And that's how we see it in our hotels. So we would be almost seeing that we would be losing almost 1/3 of our human resource going into the future. But that is a positive thing in terms of becoming efficiency, where the underutilized, underemployed people would be getting more deployed somewhere they could be used more usefully. So this is something that is an opportunity for the hotel industry to become more efficient. This is how we see it. It's not a matter of job loss or job gain. Before I answer the question that you have placed out, on the brands, I think brands do bring an immense value. Most of our hotels are, operated by Hyatt. And we have had, in this kind of unexperienced situation, brands did bring a lot of support and lot of guidance on how to manage this situation. And they continue to engage to help us come out of this better and be better prepared with their global experiences and others. So as an independent hotelier, I would have been at a much more disadvantage having a brand. Now, in terms of negotiating, if our interests are aligned, if your agreements are aligned where the revenue share or the fees are on the revenue basis, then you are fairly protected as a hotel owner developer. So, the situation for me has been that brand do bring in a lot of value, especially in times of crisis and change, which they bring in a lot of perspective. They do slow you down in terms of acting, but that is a relationship that you would have to engage in and be able to take them along if you are feeling that they are slow. And my experience has been that Hyatt has been extremely proactive, and in terms of, they were the first one even to cut down manning in their own, cut down costs for themselves in their corporate office, and they supported us to become more efficient. So this is something has been a good experience. Now, in terms of going forward, are we intending to renegotiate our contracts? I don't see that in near future. There's no need as long as our costs are aligned. If you ask me, did I watch movies? I'm not a movie guy, actually. I'm more of a reading, and especially more on, if you have heard of this gentleman, Mr. Dr. Yuval Harari, I've been watching him on YouTube. There's a lot of stuff out there, and it is basically trying to put things in perspective. Otherwise, I am at home, and my office is in the same building, so I'm very easy going up and down. The commute is via an elevator. And being with my family, with my parents, more time with parents and family, it has been actually a blessing.